Welcome to CrossYoga with Ria and welcome on the mat. Today I'll guide you through a slow class. Time to breathe, time to be, and time to listen. Find a comfortable seated position on your mats and then close your eyes. Maybe you move around, noticing how the sitting bones are on the mat. Trying to relax your thighs. Inhale and maybe exhale through your mouth. And kind of land, almost like an airplane flying around in everyday life, and then landing on the safe grounds of the mat. Let your shoulders relax in your face. And know that when we come to God in prayer, when we don't need to polish up or make a lot of excuses because it's been a long time since last, or whatever, we can just come. No excuses needed. So let's just come to God. Whatever you have, let it go. Know that you are forgiven. And let's just sit still and breathe. I'll read a prayer from my book, Meditative Movements. It's written by Dorte Kappelgaard. Here I sit, empty of words and action. So much is trying to prevent me from doing what I want. But I don't want my circumstances to define me. Help me to feel my body, my skin, my pulse. Be the blood in my veins. Let me rest in you. And when it's time, call me up and out. Give me your lightness. Let me sleep, eat, and run like the deer in the meadows. Help me not to demand anything of myself that you have not asked for. Help me to listen to my life and see what is important today. Give me power and courage. Let life come to me day by day with everything that I need. If you're ready to do some slow movements, welcome to engage in that while staying seated on the mat. Any sore or tight spots, make sure you get some movements in there. Move your wrists a little bit, circles or star fingers. And then make your way to down dog. And always welcome to explore tabletop instead of down dog, okay? So do that one. If you're really tired or there's any injuries, tabletop is beautiful. And then paddle your legs. I'm gonna do a very, very slow warm-up today with soft movements. Now walk your feet to the top end of the mat and fold forward. Maybe you take a hold of your elbows and move, sway from side to side. Just soften in your knees as you need to. Let go of your elbows, vertebrae by vertebrae, moving up into mountain pose. Lifting our arms out to the side and up towards God, and maybe let your body here express a prayer. A prayer of maybe worship or agony. And as you stay here, remember that Christ loves you, that he spread out his arms on the cross, and you can do that as well. Take your arms out on the cross and maybe just picturing Jesus on the cross saying to you, I love you, my child. I love you. And maybe you say, I surrender. And you fold forward, bend your knees as much as you need. Let your fingers reach on the floor and let your head hang heavy. Lift up your right leg and step back on the mat. Look forward, high lunge. Oh, if you're tired again, shorten the distance in between the feet here and the long length of the mat. Shoulders down. Then extend the front leg there. Lift your fingers even high up, come on almost the tiptoe of the back foot. And lean forward, bending again the front knee. Take your hands down by your side. And then let your hands reach the floor, bending the back knee again, stepping it to the top end of the mat. Fold forward. Again, rising up, reaching your arms out to the side, up towards the sky, maybe looking up. Not that God is far away, but more this is a bodily expression of something, whatever it is in your life right now. Draw your hands down to the cross shape with your palms facing up, and again closing your eyes. Sometimes you say, I love you from this much to this much, or from the moon and back and all of this. I'm just thinking God or Jesus didn't love us just from right hand to left hand. He loved us from right hand all around the world to the left hand and through himself. This is how much God loves us. And fold forward. Left leg up and back. High lunge again. Knee and ankle stacked above each other. Reach your arms up and bending the front knee. Take a full breath. And then extend the front leg. Lift the back heel off even higher. Reach the hands up, maybe exploring how the balance is affected here. Hinge forward, take your hands down by your side, bending the front knee again, leaning forward. Finding the floor and then step to the top end of the mat. Let's do that a few more times through following our breath. Inhale, reach your arms up. Cross pose, exhale. Inhaling your hands in front of you. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, half lift, right leg up and back. Exhaling, lowering that foot down. Bending the front knee. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhaling, staying high lunge. Extend the front leg, lift up, inhale. Exhale as you lean forward, bending the front knee again, arms by your side. Inhaling, fingers on the floor, make your way to the top end of the mat. Fold forward, exhale. High mountain, inhale. Cross pose, exhale. Inhale, hands to the front. Hinge forward, exhale. Half lift, inhale, left leg up and back. High lunge, reaching your arms up as you inhale. Exhaling, staying here. Inhale, reach the front leg. Long exhale, lean forward, bending the front leg. Hands on the floor. This time step back, down dog. Your heels lower down. Maybe you can wave your hip from side to side if it feels good. And notice the knuckles, firm grip on the mat. Slight micro bend in the elbows. One big breath. Right leg up and back. And step it to the front. Lower down the back knee. Welcome to fold the mat for the sake of the knee. And low lunge. Arms up and then move your hip forward. So you might feel the hamstrings getting stretched, the hip flexors here. Notice if you feel anything in your lower back, maybe you're tilting your pelvis back. If you are, trying to see if you can move a little bit more under. Maybe you need to move your pelvis further back, not so much to the front. And then prayer pose with your hands in front of you. And twisting without getting the elbow down. So mainly the spine is tall up towards the sky, but you're twisting toward your right side, out on this side. Move the palms together. And unwrap your twist, hands down. Lift the back heel off and maybe stretch the front leg just for preparing yourself for a balanced pose. So move the back foot then a little bit closer and lift up left leg. It doesn't have to be much. We want our spine to be not forward folded, but still fingers on the floor, closing up your hips, toes pointing down. Just stay here. And if you want to let go of the floor, you can do that and find prayer pose with your fingers in front of your chest. And fingers down, step back, down dog. If you want to take a break in child's pose, welcome to do that. If you're keen on staying in down dog, also an option. How deep can your breath go as you stay here? If you're in child's pose, get yourself up into down dog. Extend your left leg up and back, and then take this left leg to the top end of the mat. Again, low lunge. So right knee on the floor. Taking your time, you might want to have your hands here on your pelvis, moving it forward. Just noticing sensations in your lower back. And if you feel any pinchment here in the hip flexors, again, just don't go as far to the front. We don't want that impingement where you feel like there's not space enough for something in the hip. Or you can move the knee out to the side a little bit, whatever. If you're ready, you can take your hand up over your head and stay for a few breaths here. Gather your hands in prayer pose. Again, you might want to move your hip back for this twist. We're not finding the outer edge of the thigh. We're just twisting our spine. So we want the pelvis to stay steady, but the top of the spine moving, this time to your left side. Lots of balance, so maybe let your gaze be on the floor. Releasing your hands down. And again, letting the knee be lifted. And nice to extend the front leg there. Make your way more to the top end of the mat. Slowly lifting up right leg. Closing the hip, toes pointing down. First, just start with the fingers on the floor. Or maybe you have a block even. Just use that. Feeling your back here of the legs, both the standing leg and the lifted leg. And then maybe not, letting go of the floor. Prayer pose. One more breath, filling your lungs. Step back. Down dog, just shaking it out. And then child's pose. Get some distance in between your knees, and then let your hips sink back towards your heel, forehead on the mat. So what is your prayer today? What is your heart filled with? Lifting up, and find a seat on your mat, legs in front of you. Let the toes point up, and see if the whole backside of the legs can actually stay down there. If this is not possible, maybe you will sit on something, fold your mat, or take a pillow or whatever you have nearby. And then lean forward with your navel as the first part. And your chest. And maybe if you're pretty flexible, you want to take your chin out here and extend it away. Because when you lean forward, this will be way harder. Or we'll feel a bit deeper stretch on your back. Either the back of the leg or the lower back, lumbar spine. Release, sit up tall. Coming further down, if you need a shirt or anything right now to make sure you don't get cold, please take it on. There might be socks as well, whatever is helpful. We're gonna stay down here. It's a somewhat similar to fish pose, but I won't do a fish pose because most people can't find fish pose. But you can put your finger in your navel just to know where it is, okay? And then picture you can actually draw your navel up. You can actually take a part of it, pull the skin a little bit. So kind of shorten the distance. The sitting bones here is kind of moving up. So I am doing a version where I'm actually making a huge arch in my back. I probably can't see it due to my shirt, but this is a kind of a back bend, but not as hard as bridge pose or full wheel. So lifting the navel up, tucking the chin in. Actually, I'm not on my sitting bones, but I'm more on the kind of the bony part of the pelvis. My spine is basically not touching the floor until my shoulders or my shoulder blades are touching. And let go. To some, that might feel really great. To some, it's like, well, that's how I'm walking normally. Anyway, hug in your knees. Happy baby will be the next pose, and it is a little bit of a vulnerable pose, so if you don't like it, just stay here and rock from side to side. If you want to join me, bend your knees 90 degrees, move your legs out to the side. Take your hands here, arms on the inside of the knee, and either hold on the ankle, or if you can reach your feet, go ahead and do that pull down on your feet without bending the knees further. With your elbows moving the knees further apart. Letting go. Spinal twist. I'm going to do it this way this time. Take your left leg and wrap it over, cross it over, and then you can bend your knees. So left leg is probably closer to your chest than right. And then you move out on your right side. So the left knee is actually coming lower down. Now, if this is too much, instead of crossing the legs, just put the legs on top of each other, stacking the knees without crossing. Way easier for the lower back. The top arm reaches out, either the elbow just on the floor, or maybe just hovering that arm over, whatever. It's still a good stretch for your pecs and shoulder. And move back. Take a breath, just resting on the floor. Cross right leg on top, and again, spinal twist. I like my nose pointing up. But whatever you like, maybe you want to look towards your right hand out to the side. Coming back, feet on the floor, and take a breath with your spine resting like this. And actually, let's put our hands on our belly. It's not often we do that. So just around the navel, up and down, just holding your belly and exploring the lift as you inhale in your belly. And letting go on the exhale. Being in God's presence doesn't mean we have to talk a lot, or feel a lot, or say a lot. But today, as we are in resting pose, I'll I'll guide you through a very short visual meditation. So you can find your resting pose. Make sure you don't get cold. So if you need to pause the recording and then find a blanket, do that. As you might know, resting pose, feet out, hands on the floor. I will sit, but please stay down on the mat. So as you rest there, try to calm the place between your eyebrows. Try to relax your jaw. Maybe you open your mouth. Calm your breath if it's not already. And then picturing the sea. And picturing waves moving in on some rocks or big stones somewhere. Picture how these waves reaching the stone splashes water up, white foam. And how the water is retracted back into the water or to the sea, and then again moving, a new wave coming in, kind of beating on the rocks laying there. I'd also notice the rocks. They might, through maybe hundreds of years, have been shaped by the waves and by the water. A little bit. But notice that they don't break as the waves hit them. And let this be a reminder that God will not allow the waves of life to break you either. Storms might come. And they might hit hard, but you will not break. Take that encouragement with you. I will not break. And I'll read the last part of the prayer again. Help me not to demand anything of myself that you have not asked for. Help me to listen to my life and see what is important today. Give me power and courage. And let life come to me day by day with everything I need. I will finish the class now, but you know you're welcome to stay on the mats. And maybe seeing that image, that come what may, come what waves that may, I will not break. From my heart to your heart, thank you so much. God's blessings on your path.